There is something about placing an order that most people have forgotten entirely. Not the kind of order you make at a restaurant, or the kind you send to an online store, but the ancient practice of placing a spiritual order directly with the universe itself and receiving what you have requested within 24 hours. Genevieve Behrend understood this forgotten art better than perhaps anyone of her time, and she discovered that the secret lies not in begging, not in hoping, not in endless visualization, but in the precise method of ordering prosperity as if you were placing a request with the most reliable merchant who has never failed to deliver. Picture this moment, you standing in your own home, holding nothing more than a simple piece of paper, but understanding that this paper is about to become the most powerful financial instrument you have ever possessed. Not because of magic, not because of wishful thinking, but because you are about to learn the exact method that Genevieve taught to her most advanced students, the ones who transformed their entire relationship with money in a single day by learning to place orders instead of making requests. You may have spent years asking the universe for abundance, praying for financial relief, affirming your way toward prosperity, only to find yourself still waiting, still struggling, still watching others receive what seems to elude you. But asking is the language of lack. Requesting implies uncertainty about whether you will receive. Even praying can carry the vibration of desperation rather than expectation. Genevieve discovered that the universe responds not to our neediness, but to our clarity, not to our pleas, but to our orders. Think about how different it feels to place an order at a fine restaurant versus begging for food at the kitchen door. When you order, you expect to receive exactly what you requested, prepared to your specifications, delivered at the appropriate time. You do not beg the waiter to consider your request. You do not plead with the chef to find you worthy of the meal. You simply state what you want, knowing that the entire system exists to fulfill your order. This is precisely how Genevieve taught her students to approach the universe, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the system works and expects nothing less than complete fulfillment. The difference between those who struggle financially and those who prosper effortlessly is not luck, not background, not education, not even hard work. The difference is understanding. Those who prosper understand that they are not beggars at the cosmic door, but customers at the universal supply house, authorized to place orders for whatever they need, whenever they need it, with complete confidence in delivery. But here is what most people do not realize about their cosmic ordering privileges. They have been using the wrong language their entire lives. They have been asking, hoping, wishing, and wondering when they should have been commanding, ordering, directing, and expecting. This single shift in consciousness from requester to orderer changes everything about how the universe responds to your financial needs. If you are ready to join a growing community of people who understand that prosperity is not something we hope for, but something we order with precision and receive with certainty, like this video and subscribe to this channel. The more of us who understand these principles, the stronger the collective field becomes, making manifestation even more rapid for everyone involved. And if you feel the truth of what I am sharing resonate in your chest, leave a comment with these 3 words: wealth is ordered. This is not just engagement. This is your first declaration that you are ready to shift from asking to commanding. What you are about to discover will challenge everything you have been taught about manifestation, abundance, and your relationship with money. Genevieve Behrend learned these principles directly from Thomas Troward, one of the greatest metaphysical teachers who ever lived, and she refined them through decades of practice until she could teach others to manifest specific amounts of money within hours rather than months or years. The secret is not in the complexity of the technique. It is in the precision of the order and the authority with which you place it. The cosmic ordering system has been operating perfectly since the beginning of time. Stars place orders for the elements they need to sustain nuclear fusion, and hydrogen arrives precisely when required. Flowers place orders for the exact nutrients they need to bloom, and the soil provides exactly what was requested. Trees place orders for the specific amount of rainfall needed for growth, and the weather patterns respond with mathematical precision. The entire natural world operates on this ordering principle, And human beings are the only species that has forgotten how to use it consciously. You were not born to struggle with money. You were not designed to worry about bills, to stress about making ends meet, or to feel anxious every time you look at your bank balance. You were created to prosper, to overflow with abundance, to live in the easy flow of supply that matches your every need and desire. The cosmic ordering system exists to serve your prosperity, not to test your patience or judge your worthiness. You know the weight that settles in your chest when you open the bills, when you check your bank balance, when you realize that once again, the month has more days left than money. It is not just financial pressure. It is the suffocating sensation of being trapped in a room where the walls keep closing in, where every breath feels labored because the air itself has become thick with worry and shame. The space around your heart constricts like a fist, squeezing tighter with each unexpected expense, each declined payment, each reminder that you are living on the edge of financial disaster. Picture the feeling of drowning in slow motion. Not the dramatic kind of drowning you see in movies, but the quiet, persistent kind where you are always just barely keeping your head above water, always one unexpected expense away from going under completely. Your lungs burn with the effort of staying afloat. Your arms ache from treading water for so long. And worst of all, you watch others swimming effortlessly past you, as if they know some secret about staying buoyant that no one ever taught you. The water tastes bitter with the salt of your own tears, and you wonder how much longer you can keep fighting against the current that seems determined to pull you down. The shame burns like acid in your throat when you have to decline invitations because you cannot afford them, when you have to make excuses for why you cannot join friends for dinner, when you have to pretend that you chose the cheaper option because you preferred it rather than because it was all you could afford. The isolation that comes with financial struggle is perhaps the cruelest part, not just the lack of money, but the way that lack separates you from experiences, relationships, and opportunities that others take for granted. You begin to feel like you are living behind glass, watching life happen to other people, while you remain trapped in a world where every decision is filtered through the question of whether you can afford it. There is the exhaustion that settles into your bones when you realize you have been running on a treadmill for years, working harder and harder, but never actually moving forward. Your muscles scream with the effort of trying to get somewhere, anywhere, that feels like progress. Every raise gets absorbed by inflation. Every bit of progress gets erased by an emergency. Every step forward seems to be followed by 2 steps back until you begin to wonder if you are cursed, if you are fundamentally different from people who seem to attract abundance naturally. The treadmill never stops, never slows down, and you cannot remember the last time you felt the solid ground of financial security beneath your feet. And then there is the fear that whispers in the dark hours before dawn. The voice that tells you this is as good as it gets, that you should be grateful for what you have instead of wanting more, that desiring prosperity makes you greedy or shallow. This voice has convinced millions of good people that struggle is virtuous, that poverty builds character, that wanting financial freedom somehow makes you less spiritual or less worthy of love. It wraps around your dreams like thorny vines, choking off hope before it can fully form, leaving you resigned to a life of just getting by when your soul knows you were meant for so much more. The anxiety tastes metallic in your mouth when the phone rings and you see an unknown number, knowing it might be a creditor. Your stomach drops like a stone thrown into a deep well, and the echo of that falling sensation reverberates through your entire body. You find yourself holding your breath more often than breathing freely, as if taking up too much space in the world might somehow make your financial situation worse. Sleep becomes elusive because worry follows you into the darkness, painting catastrophic scenarios across the inside of your eyelids. Genevieve knew this landscape of financial suffering intimately because she had walked through it herself. Before she discovered the ordering principle, she had experienced the gut-wrenching anxiety of not knowing how she would pay rent, the humiliation of having to borrow money from friends, the despair of watching her dreams shrink to fit the size of her bank account. She understood that financial lack is not just about missing numbers on a statement. It is about the way scarcity thinking infects every area of your life, making you smaller, more fearful, more apologetic for taking up space in the world. But just as water always finds a way around every obstacle, just as seeds buried in the darkest soil somehow know to grow toward light, there exists a pathway out of this suffocating landscape of lack. The universe operates according to precise laws, and once you understand how to work with these laws instead of against them, money begins to flow toward you with the same reliability that rivers flow toward the ocean. The current that has been working against you can be redirected to work for you, carrying abundance instead of struggle, prosperity instead of poverty. The transformation begins the moment you realize that your financial circumstances are not happening to you. They are happening through you, created by the quality of consciousness you have been unconsciously broadcasting into the field of infinite possibility. And if consciousness created your current reality, consciousness can transform it completely. There is a story I must tell you because it shows in vivid detail what happens when someone finally understands the difference between begging for money and ordering it with precision. This is the story of Diane, a 48-year-old teacher from Ohio who had been struggling financially for so long that she had convinced herself it was simply her lot in life to worry about money. She had accepted the role of someone who just gets by, someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, someone who dreams small because dreaming big feels dangerous when you can barely afford the reality you already have. Diane earned enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. Every month was a careful calculation of which bills could be paid on time and which could be delayed without serious consequences. She had tried every budgeting system, every savings challenge, every side hustle she could manage while working full-time. But somehow the numbers never seemed to add up to the life she had imagined for herself. She had read books about prosperity, attended workshops about abundance, and even tried vision boards and affirmations. But nothing created the lasting change she desperately needed. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening in November when Diane discovered that her car needed a repair that would cost more than she had in her emergency fund. She sat at her kitchen table with the estimate in one hand and her bank statement in the other, calculating and recalculating, hoping that somehow the math would change if she looked at it differently. But the numbers remained stubbornly the same. She could either fix her car or pay her electric bill, but not both. In that moment of complete overwhelm, tears streaming down her face, Diane felt something she had never experienced before. A quiet voice that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than her conscious mind. The voice did not tell her to try harder, or work more hours, or cut more expenses. Instead, it whispered something that made no logical sense, but felt absolutely true. Stop asking. Start ordering. Diane had heard about Genevieve Behrend's work through a friend, but she had dismissed it as too simple to be effective. Now, with no other options visible, she decided to try something that felt completely foreign to her way of thinking. She took a clean piece of paper from her desk drawer and wrote at the top, "Universe, I place this order for $3,000 to arrive within 24 hours for my highest good and the good of all concerned." She did not ask. She did not beg. She did not explain why she needed the money or promise what she would do in return. She simply placed an order as clearly and specifically as if she were ordering a meal at a restaurant. The act of writing those words felt strange and powerful at the same time, as if she were stepping into a role she had never played before, the role of someone who commands rather than someone who pleads. Then she signed her name at the bottom, folded the paper 3 times, and placed it under her pillow before going to sleep. For the first time in months, Diane slept deeply and peacefully, as if some invisible burden had been lifted from her shoulders. 22 hours later, Diane received a phone call that would change everything. A distant relative she had not spoken to in over a decade had passed away and left her a small inheritance. The lawyer explained that the paperwork had been delayed for months due to complications with the estate, but they had finally located her contact information and were ready to process the transfer immediately. The amount was exactly $3,000. When Diane tells this story now, she says the most shocking part was not receiving the money. It was the absolute certainty she had felt when writing the order. For the first time in years, she had not hoped or wished or prayed. She had simply commanded, with the quiet authority of someone who knows they are placing an order with a system that cannot fail to deliver. The universe had responded not to her desperation, but to her clarity, not to her neediness, but to her authority. This was Diane's introduction to what Genevieve Behrend called the ordering principle, the understanding that the universe operates like a cosmic fulfillment center, always ready to process orders placed with precision and authority, always responsive to clear intentions backed by unwavering expectation of delivery. Diane had discovered that she was not a beggar at the cosmic door, but a valued customer with unlimited ordering privileges. 3 weeks later, emboldened by her success, Diane placed a second order for $7,000 to pay off her remaining credit card debt. This time, the money arrived in the form of an unexpected bonus from her school district, combined with a refund from an overpayment on her insurance that she had not even known existed. Again, the total was exactly $7,000, arriving 18 hours after she placed her order. But the most profound change was not in Diane's bank account. It was in her relationship with money itself. She no longer felt like someone who struggled financially. She felt like someone who had direct access to cosmic supply and knew how to claim what she needed with confidence and authority. Her entire identity had shifted from scarcity to abundance, from victim to creator, from someone who hoped for the best to someone who expected nothing less than perfect fulfillment. Genevieve Behrend understood something that modern manifestation teaching has largely forgotten. The universe does not respond to desperation, neediness, or emotional manipulation. It responds to clear, authoritative commands issued from a consciousness that understands its own divine power to create and direct reality according to spiritual law. The cosmic order fulfillment system operates on the principle of recognition rather than petition. It recognizes authority and responds to commands that align with the natural flow of abundance. When you place an order rather than making a request, you are operating from an entirely different level of consciousness. A request implies uncertainty. You are asking for something while secretly wondering if you will receive it. An order implies authority. You are directing the creative force of the universe to manifest your intention because you understand that this force exists to serve consciousness, not to judge it or test its worthiness. The universe is not a reluctant benefactor that must be convinced to help you. It is an eager collaborator waiting for clear direction about how to serve your highest good. Think about the difference between a customer tentatively asking if maybe, possibly, they could have something versus a customer confidently placing an order for exactly what they want. The first creates confusion and hesitation in the service provider. The second creates immediate clarity and action. The universe, being pure creative intelligence, responds to the clarity and authority of your intention rather than the emotional intensity of your desire. Desperation pushes abundance away because it broadcasts the frequency of not having. Authority attracts abundance because it broadcasts the frequency of deserving and expecting. Genevieve discovered that every thought is a request, but only certain thoughts become orders. The difference lies not in the content, but in the consciousness behind it. When you think, "I wish I had more money," you are making a request that reinforces your current lack. When you declare, "I order $5,000 to manifest for my highest good," you are commanding creative law to produce a specific result according to your precise specifications. The word order itself carries a frequency of expectation and entitlement that wish or hope cannot match. The written order serves multiple functions that mere mental intention cannot achieve. First, it requires you to become specific about what you want, rather than vague about what you hope might happen. When you must write, "I order $5,000, you cannot hide behind wishful thinking about more money or enough money. The universe responds to precision, not approximation. Second, it engages your physical body in the creative process through the act of writing, which signals to your subconscious mind that this intention carries more weight than passing thoughts. The movement of your hand across the paper, the formation of each letter, the pressure of the pen against the surface, all of these physical actions anchor your order in the material realm and bridge the gap between thought and form. Third, it creates a tangible symbol of your commitment to receiving what you have ordered, which strengthens your expectation of fulfillment. Every time you see that folded paper, every time you remember placing it under your pillow, your consciousness is reminded that you have shifted from hoping to commanding. Fourth, the written order engages what psychologists call embodied cognition, the understanding that physical actions influence mental states. When you write with authority, you begin to feel authoritative. When you fold the paper with certainty, you embody certainty. When you place it deliberately under your pillow, you demonstrate to yourself that you believe in the process. But perhaps most importantly, the written order transforms you from someone who wants something into someone who has already claimed it. The moment you write "I order" instead of "I want" or "I hope," you shift into the consciousness of authority rather than neediness. You become someone who commands rather than someone who begs. This shift in identity is what allows the manifestation to occur so rapidly. The universe does not respond to your desires. It responds to your identity. When you identify as someone who naturally orders and receives abundance, abundance has no choice but to flow toward you. Genevieve often reminded her students that we are not separate from the creative force of the universe. We are individualized expressions of it. This means we have the same creative power that forms galaxies and grows forests. But we must learn to use this power consciously and deliberately rather than accidentally and unconsciously. The ordering process teaches you to work with this power as a deliberate co-creator rather than as a passive recipient of whatever random circumstances happen to appear in your life. The 24-hour time frame is not arbitrary. It represents one complete cycle of the Earth's rotation, during which the creative forces of the universe can realign circumstances to fulfill your order. Genevieve understood that consciousness works most effectively when it collaborates with natural rhythms rather than trying to force immediate results through willpower alone. Just as seeds germinate according to their own timing, just as flowers bloom when conditions are perfect, your order manifests when the cosmic circumstances have aligned to support its fulfillment. This understanding removes all sense of struggle or effort from the manifestation process. You are not trying to make something happen through force of will. You are not attempting to manipulate the universe into giving you what you want. You are simply placing a clear order with the cosmic supply house and allowing the natural laws of abundance to fulfill that order in perfect timing. The same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of planets and the migration of birds is now orchestrating the circumstances of your life to deliver exactly what you have commanded. When you truly understand this principle, you will never again feel powerless in the face of financial challenges. You will know that you have direct access to the source of all supply, and that this access comes not through worthiness or deservingness, but through consciousness and authority. You will approach money matters with the same confidence that you approach ordering a meal at a restaurant, with the expectation that what you order will be prepared perfectly and delivered promptly. The ancient art of placing a prosperity order requires precise execution, not because the universe is demanding or difficult, but because precision creates the clarity that allows creative law to respond immediately and accurately to your intention. What I am about to share with you is the exact method that Genevieve Behrend refined through decades of practice and teaching, the same technique that has enabled thousands of people to manifest specific amounts of money within hours rather than years. Begin by choosing a time when you will not be interrupted for at least 15 minutes. This is not because the process takes long, but because the consciousness from which you place your order must be calm, clear, and focused rather than scattered or rushed. Find a quiet space where you can sit comfortably with a pen and a clean piece of paper. The paper should be white and unlined, representing the blank canvas of infinite possibility upon which you are about to write your creative command. The pen should write smoothly and clearly. This is not the time for struggling with an old pen that skips or creates blotchy letters. Before you touch pen to paper, take a moment to settle into the proper consciousness for ordering rather than requesting. Place both feet flat on the floor, feeling your connection to the earth beneath you. Straighten your spine, allowing your posture to reflect the dignity and authority of someone who has every right to claim abundance. Rest your hands gently on your thighs and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to release any tension, worry, or doubt from your body and mind. With the first breath, release any beliefs about money being scarce or difficult to obtain. With the second breath, release any feelings of unworthiness or fear about receiving abundance. With the third breath, release any attachment to struggling or working hard for money. You are entering the consciousness of someone who expects prosperity to flow easily and naturally. Open your eyes and look at the blank paper before you. See it not as an empty page, but as a portal between the invisible realm of pure potential and the visible realm of manifest form. This paper is about to become the bridge that carries your intention from thought into reality, from desire into possession, from hope into certainty. At the top of the paper, write today's date, making your order specific to this moment in time and space. The universe responds to precision, and dating your order creates a clear timestamp for when you claimed your abundance. Write the date in whatever format feels most natural to you, but write it clearly and deliberately, as if you were dating an important legal document. Below the date, write these exact words: Universe, I place this order for, and then specify the exact amount of money you are calling forth. Be absolutely precise. Do not write more money, or enough money, or a lot of money. Write the specific dollar amount that you need or desire. If you need $2,500 for rent, write $2,500. If you want $10,000 for a new beginning, write $10,000. If you desire $50,000 to pay off debt and start fresh, write $50,000. The precision matters because the universe operates like a cosmic computer that responds to exact specifications. When you order a specific amount, you receive that amount. When you order a vague more money, the universe might send you a penny, because technically a penny is more money than you had before. Specificity demonstrates that you know exactly what you want and expect to receive exactly what you order. After the amount, add these words: to manifest within 24 hours for my highest good and the good of all concerned. This phrase serves multiple purposes. First, it sets a clear deadline for manifestation, creating urgency in the cosmic fulfillment system. Second, it ensures that your order aligns with divine law and creates benefit rather than harm for yourself and others. Third, it demonstrates trust in divine timing while still maintaining clear expectations about when you expect delivery. On the next line, write, I place this order with complete faith in the law that never fails, and I accept delivery with gratitude. This statement establishes your consciousness of expectation rather than hope, of certainty rather than uncertainty. You are not hoping the universe will consider your request. You are stating your faith in the unchangeable laws that govern abundance and declaring your readiness to receive what you have ordered. At the bottom of the paper, sign your full name as if you were signing a legal contract, because in the realm of consciousness, you are. Your signature represents your commitment to receive what you have ordered and your acceptance of responsibility for using it wisely. Write your name with authority and confidence, the way you would sign a contract for something you absolutely intended to follow through on. Now comes the most crucial part of the entire process. Fold the paper exactly 3 times, creating a small, neat package. As you make the first fold, speak these words aloud. It is ordered. Feel the authority in your voice, the certainty that comes from working with law rather than trying to manipulate circumstances. As you make the second fold, say, it is accepted. Allow yourself to feel the relief of knowing that your order has been received by the Cosmic Fulfillment Center. As you make the third fold, declare, it is done. Let these words carry the finality of completion, the recognition that your manifestation is already accomplished in the invisible realm and is now making its way into visible form. Place the folded paper under your pillow and sleep on it for one night. The symbolism is profound. You are literally resting your mind upon your order, allowing your subconscious to work with the intention throughout the night while your conscious mind releases all effort and concern. Your dreams become the workshop where your order is being prepared for delivery. The next morning, upon waking, hold the folded paper in both hands and speak these final words. I give thanks for the perfect fulfillment of this order. Then place the paper in a safe place where you will not see it constantly, but where you know it remains as a tangible symbol of your order being processed. A drawer, a jewelry box, or a special folder work perfectly for this purpose. This is not superstition or wishful thinking. This is the deliberate application of consciousness to create specific results according to spiritual law. Every element of the process serves a purpose, and when executed with genuine authority rather than desperate hope, the results are swift and precise. There is profound spiritual science behind why prosperity orders manifest most powerfully within a 24 to 48-hour window, and understanding this mechanism will strengthen your faith in the process while it unfolds. Genevieve Behrend discovered that consciousness operates according to specific rhythms that mirror the natural cycles governing all life on Earth, and when you align your ordering with these rhythms, manifestation becomes as natural and reliable as sunrise. When you place your order and sleep on it for one night, you are aligning your intention with what neuroscientists now call the brain's default mode network, the state of consciousness that processes information, consolidates memories, and reorganizes neural pathways during rest periods. Your order becomes integrated into your subconscious mind during sleep, where it begins broadcasting a new frequency of expectation that attracts corresponding experiences in the physical realm. But this is only the beginning of the transformation that occurs during the ordering window. During sleep, your consciousness expands beyond the limitations of waking awareness and accesses what Genevieve called the cosmic internet, the field of infinite intelligence that connects all minds and orchestrates all experiences. Your order travels through this field like a signal sent into the universe, automatically triggering responses from every person, circumstance, and opportunity that can contribute to its fulfillment. People begin thinking thoughts that will lead them to contact you. Events start shifting to create openings for money to flow in your direction. Coincidences align to produce the perfect timing for your order's manifestation. But the spiritual mechanics run even deeper than neuroscience can measure. Genevieve understood that the 24-hour cycle represents one complete rotation of the Earth through all magnetic and energetic influences, creating what she called a full spectrum of possibility. Your order, placed with authority and precision, travels through this spectrum like a seed planted in soil that contains every nutrient necessary for growth. Each hour of the cycle contributes different energetic qualities to the manifestation process, building momentum toward the moment of fulfillment. During the first 6 hours after placing your order, the universe begins what Genevieve termed preliminary arrangement, the invisible reshuffling of circumstances that will ultimately deliver your request. This happens entirely below the threshold of ordinary perception, like roots spreading underground before any green shoots appear above the surface. During this phase, your order is being registered in the cosmic fulfillment system and assigned to the appropriate departments of universal intelligence that specialize in financial manifestation. The second 6-hour period involves resource allocation, the cosmic intelligence identifying and mobilizing the specific people, opportunities, and circumstances that will serve as channels for your money to reach you. Someone, somewhere, is being prompted to call you about an opportunity. A check that was delayed is being processed for delivery. A business deal that had stalled is being revitalized. An investment you had forgotten about is preparing to yield returns. All of this occurs without your conscious awareness or effort. During the third 6-hour period, pathway illumination begins, the subtle opening of channels through which your money will flow. You may notice small synchronicities during this time, meaningful songs on the radio, license plates with significant numbers, unexpected encounters with people who mention money or opportunities. These are not coincidences, but confirmations that your order is being processed and delivery is approaching. The final 6 hours of the 24-hour cycle represent materialization preparation, the universe making final adjustments to ensure that your money arrives in the most beneficial way possible. Your order has moved through the invisible realm and is now ready to break through into physical manifestation. The phone call is about to come. The check is about to arrive. The opportunity is about to present itself. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information based on what you consider important, also undergoes a 24-hour recalibration period after you place an order with genuine authority. This means you will naturally begin noticing opportunities, resources, and connections that were always present but previously invisible because they did not match your old frequency of expectation. Suddenly, you see money-making possibilities everywhere because your brain has been reprogrammed to recognize abundance rather than scarcity. The 48-hour maximum exists because consciousness, like water, seeks the path of least resistance. If your order has not manifested within 2 days, it usually indicates that some aspect of your consciousness is still operating from neediness rather than authority, from hope rather than knowing. This is not a failure. It is feedback that allows you to refine your approach and place a new order from a clearer state of consciousness. The key to success during this window is maintaining what Genevieve called the consciousness of having already received. This does not mean pretending you have money you do not possess, but rather carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their order is being processed and delivery is imminent. You make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. You speak from certainty rather than hope. You move through your day with the relaxed expectation of someone whose prosperity is already on its way. During these crucial hours, it is important to resist the temptation to monitor for signs of progress or to worry about how your order will be fulfilled. The cosmic intelligence works most efficiently when you step back and allow it to orchestrate circumstances without interference from your logical mind. Trust that the same force that grows flowers from seeds and turns acorns into oak trees is now growing your financial supply from the seed of your written order. As your order begins to manifest, the old consciousness that has kept you trapped in financial struggle will attempt to reassert itself through 7 specific forms of resistance. Recognizing these patterns and knowing how to dissolve them instantly is the difference between successful manifestation and returning to old cycles of lack. Genevieve understood that these resistances are not personal failures, but predictable responses from a mind that has been conditioned to expect struggle and doubt the possibility of easy abundance. The first resistance appears as logical doubt. This is too simple to work. Real change requires hard work and sacrifice. People who get money easily must be lucky or dishonest. There has to be a catch. This voice comes from years of cultural programming that has convinced you that anything valuable must be difficult to obtain. When this doubt arises, simply acknowledge it by saying, "Thank you for sharing your concern, but the order is already placed and processing according to divine law." Do not argue with doubt or try to convince it with logic. Resistance feeds on attention and argument, but dissolves in the face of calm certainty. The second resistance manifests as unworthiness. I don't deserve to receive money this easily. Good people struggle for what they have. If money comes too easily, I must be taking it away from someone who needs it more. Maybe I'm being greedy or materialistic. This is perhaps the most insidious form of resistance because it disguises itself as humility while actually rejecting the abundance that the universe wants to give you. To this voice, respond with gentle firmness. My worthiness is established by divine law, not human opinion. I accept my inheritance with gratitude, knowing that my prosperity contributes to the prosperity of all. Remember that Genevieve taught that feeling unworthy of abundance is actually a form of spiritual pride, the ego's attempt to seem humble while rejecting the gifts the universe wants to give. When you refuse abundance out of false humility, you are essentially telling the universe that you know better than divine intelligence about what you should receive. True humility lies in accepting your divine inheritance with grace and using it to serve the highest good. The third resistance arrives as fear of change. What if having money changes me in negative ways? What if I become greedy, selfish, or lose touch with what really matters? What if people treat me differently? What if I can't handle the responsibility? This fear stems from societal conditioning that portrays wealth as corrupting and money as inherently evil. Answer this concern with wisdom. Money magnifies who I already am. If I am kind, money makes me more generous. If I am loving, money helps me express more love. I trust myself to use prosperity wisely because I am guided by divine intelligence. The fourth resistance appears as social conditioning. My family has always struggled with money. It's not realistic to expect sudden wealth. People like me don't get rich. I come from the wrong background, have the wrong education, know the wrong people. This voice represents generational programming that has been passed down through family lines like an inherited disease. Dissolve this pattern immediately. I break generational cycles of lack. My prosperity creates new possibilities for everyone in my family line. I choose abundance for myself and future generations, knowing that my success lifts everyone around me. The fifth resistance shows up as timing anxiety. It's been 16 hours and nothing has happened yet. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe the universe doesn't think I'm ready. Maybe I don't have enough faith. Maybe I should place another order to be sure. This impatience comes from the mind's need to control the timing and method of manifestation. Respond to this anxiety with faith. Divine timing is perfect timing. My order is being fulfilled in the ideal way and at the ideal moment. I rest in trust rather than anxiety, knowing that rushing cannot improve perfection. The sixth resistance emerges as comparison. Other people make this look so easy, but it never works for me. I must be different or blocked in some way that others aren't. Maybe I'm not spiritual enough, not positive enough, not deserving enough. Everyone else gets lucky breaks, but I always have to struggle. This comparison trap keeps you focused on others' success rather than your own inevitable manifestation. Counter this illusion with truth. I am as capable of receiving abundance as any other child of the universe. My prosperity is as certain as the sunrise. I release comparison and embrace my unique path to wealth, trusting that my order is being fulfilled perfectly. The seventh and most powerful resistance appears as the final test, a circumstance that seems to contradict your order or make it appear impossible. A bill arrives that is larger than expected. An emergency expense appears that requires immediate attention. Someone tells you that your financial situation is hopeless. A job opportunity falls through at the last minute. Your car breaks down, your roof starts leaking, or your computer crashes, all requiring money you don't currently have. This is not the universe denying your order. It is the old reality making one last attempt to convince you that scarcity is stronger than abundance. These final tests appear to shake your faith and return you to old patterns of fear and struggle. To this ultimate challenge, declare with absolute authority, this appearance cannot touch the truth of my order. Divine law supersedes all appearances. My prosperity manifests now regardless of what my physical eyes see. I do not judge by appearances, but by the spiritual truth that my order is already fulfilled. If you recognize yourself in these resistance patterns and feel ready to move beyond them completely, leave a comment saying, I choose divine abundance. This declaration signals to your subconscious mind that you are choosing the new consciousness over the old, authority over doubt, expectation over fear. Each time resistance appears, remember that it is not personal failure or spiritual weakness. It is simply old programming attempting to maintain familiar patterns. You do not need to fight these voices or make them disappear completely. You simply need to acknowledge them politely and then return your attention to the certainty that your order is being processed according to divine law that never fails. The resistance is proof that transformation is occurring, not evidence that the process is failing. There was a remarkable case of Linda, a 52-year-old accountant from Texas, who encountered all 7 resistances within 18 hours of placing her order for $8,000. First came the logical doubt, as she wondered if she was being foolish. Then, the unworthiness voice told her she didn't deserve easy money. Fear of change whispered that wealth would corrupt her. Social conditioning reminded her that her family had always struggled. Timing anxiety made her check her bank account every hour. Comparison told her that others were more deserving. Finally, her water heater broke, requiring an emergency repair that would cost exactly what she had in savings. Instead of giving in to any of these resistances, Linda simply repeated, "My order stands. Divine law is fulfilling it now." 23 hours after placing her order, she received a call from a former client offering her a consulting project that paid exactly $8,000, with half the payment due immediately. The universe had not only fulfilled her order, but provided the money she needed for the water heater repair as well. Once you have successfully placed your first prosperity order and experienced the rapid manifestation that follows, you can amplify the power of future orders through specific techniques that Genevieve developed for her most advanced students. These amplifiers work by deepening your consciousness of authority and expanding your capacity to receive at higher levels, transforming you from someone who occasionally manifests money into someone who lives in permanent prosperity consciousness. The first amplifier involves creating what Genevieve called an order within an order. After writing your basic prosperity command, add a second line that reads, "I also order that this money arrives in a way that increases my faith in divine law and inspires others to recognize their own abundance." This amplification ensures that your manifestation serves not only your personal needs, but also contributes to the elevation of consciousness around you. When your money arrives in ways that are clearly miraculous or perfectly timed, it strengthens your faith for future orders and creates ripple effects of abundance awareness in everyone who witnesses your success. The second amplifier engages the power of gratitude before fulfillment. After signing your name to the order, add these words: "I give thanks in advance for the perfect way this order manifests, knowing that divine intelligence orchestrates circumstances better than I could imagine or plan." This practice shifts you immediately into the consciousness of having already received rather than hoping to receive. Gratitude is the bridge between the invisible and visible realms, and when you express appreciation before manifestation, you collapse the time between ordering and receiving. The third amplifier multiplies your prosperity through what Genevieve termed generous expectation. Include in your order this additional command: "I order that receiving this money increases my capacity to give, invest, and circulate abundance for the benefit of all." This approach aligns your personal prosperity with universal prosperity, creating a flow that benefits everyone it touches. When you position yourself as a conduit for abundance rather than a destination for it, the universe can pour through you in unlimited quantities because it knows the flow will continue rather than stagnate. The fourth amplifier involves timing precision that challenges your faith while remaining believable to your consciousness. Instead of ordering money to arrive within 24 hours, specify an exact time frame that feels both ambitious and achievable. "I order this money to manifest by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon," or "I order this money to arrive before Saturday at noon." The more specific your delivery request, the more precisely the universe can fulfill it. This specificity also eliminates the vague anxiety of wondering when your order will arrive and replaces it with clear expectation of a definite deadline. The fifth amplifier engages multiple senses in the ordering process, creating what neuroscientists call embodied cognition, the understanding that physical actions influence mental states and accelerate belief formation. After writing your command, hold the paper close to your heart and feel the vibration of certainty in your chest. Imagine the warmth of gratitude spreading through your ribcage as you anticipate receiving your money. Then hold the paper to your forehead and visualize the exact amount already in your possession. See it in your bank account, feel it in your wallet, imagine using it for its intended purpose. Finally, speak your order aloud 3 times with increasing authority, letting your voice carry the frequency of absolute knowing. First, read it in a whisper, as if sharing a sacred secret with the universe. Second, speak it in your normal voice, declaring it as a confident customer placing an order with a trusted supplier. Third, proclaim it with the full power of your voice, as if announcing a royal decree that reshapes reality according to your command. The sixth amplifier creates what Genevieve called prosperity partnerships. Find someone else who understands the ordering principle and agree to place orders for each other's prosperity. Write, "I order $5,000 for friend's name to manifest within 24 hours for their highest good," and have them write a similar order for you. This mutual support creates a field of doubled intention and expectation, and it removes any remaining traces of selfishness or doubt from the process. When you are actively ordering abundance for others, you prove to your subconscious mind that there is enough for everyone and that you trust the cosmic supply to be unlimited. The seventh amplifier involves environmental harmony that signals to your subconscious mind the importance and sacredness of the ordering process. Create a dedicated space for placing your orders, a small table or shelf decorated with symbols of abundance such as fresh flowers, a glass of clear water, a healthy plant, or meaningful jewelry. Light a candle while writing your order, allowing the flame to represent the light of divine intelligence, illuminating your path to prosperity. The physical beauty and intention of the space amplifies the energetic power of your written command and makes the entire process feel ceremonial rather than casual. The eighth amplifier multiplies manifestation speed through what Genevieve called compound ordering. Once you have successfully manifested your first order, immediately place a second order for a larger amount before the excitement of your success fades. If your first order was for $1,000 and it manifested perfectly, place your next order for $3,000 while your faith is at its peak. This momentum approach builds confidence rapidly and demonstrates to your subconscious mind that prosperity is not a one-time event, but an ongoing flow that increases with practice. If you feel ready to implement these amplification techniques in your own practice, leave a comment saying, "I amplify my abundance." This declaration opens your consciousness to receive not just what you order, but more than you order, in ways that serve your highest evolution and greatest joy. Remember that amplifiers work most effectively when you have already experienced successful manifestation through the basic ordering process. Start with simple, clear orders for specific amounts that feel challenging but believable to your current consciousness. And once you see consistent results, begin experimenting with these more advanced techniques. Each amplifier builds upon the foundation of your growing faith in divine law and your expanding identity as someone who naturally attracts and receives abundance. The most important amplifier of all is your growing recognition that you are not manipulating the universe into giving you money. You are collaborating with cosmic law to claim what has always been yours by divine right. This shift from manipulation to collaboration transforms the entire experience from effortful striving to graceful receiving, from anxious hoping to confident expecting. The signs begin appearing before your order reaches full manifestation, like the first drops of rain that announce the coming storm. Genevieve Behrend taught her students to recognize these harbingers not as mere coincidences, but as evidence that consciousness has already shifted and material reality is catching up to match the new frequency. Learning to read these signs accurately prevents doubt from undermining your manifestation and allows you to remain in the consciousness of expectation rather than anxiety. Within the first few hours after placing your order, you may notice small but significant changes in your environment and internal state. A penny appears on the sidewalk exactly when you are thinking about money. Someone mentions an opportunity they had not talked about before. You receive an unexpected compliment that makes you feel valuable and appreciated. A song plays on the radio with lyrics about abundance, just as you are questioning whether your order is working. Your phone buzzes with a text message from someone you haven't heard from in months, creating an interruption in your normal routine that draws your attention to the fact that something is shifting. These micro-manifestations are the universe's way of confirming that your command has been received and is being processed through the cosmic fulfillment system. They serve as breadcrumbs leading to your full manifestation, building your confidence and maintaining your expectation while the larger mechanisms of delivery are being orchestrated behind the scenes. The second wave of signs often involves communication, phone calls from people you had not heard from recently, emails about opportunities you had forgotten existed, text messages with information that proves relevant to your financial situation. Pay attention to these interruptions in your normal routine because they frequently carry the seeds of your order's fulfillment. The person calling to catch up may mention a job opening. The email from an old friend may contain information about an investment opportunity. The text message from a colleague may lead to a freelance project that pays exactly what you ordered. There is the story of Barbara, a 45-year-old consultant from Michigan who placed an order for $4,000 to cover her daughter's college expenses. 16 hours after writing her command, she received 3 separate communications that seemed unrelated but were actually perfectly orchestrated by the cosmic intelligence fulfilling her order. Her sister called to mention that their aunt had been asking about Barbara's consulting experience and whether she might be interested in helping with a family business project. A former colleague texted about a private consulting opportunity that had just opened up. Her bank sent an email notification that a certificate of deposit she had forgotten about had matured and was available for withdrawal. Each message contained a piece of the puzzle that led to her receiving exactly $4,000 within 22 hours. The family business project paid $2,000 for a weekend of work. The consulting opportunity provided $1,500 for a week-long project. The matured certificate of deposit contained $500 in accumulated interest. Barbara later said that if she had received only one of these communications, she might have dismissed it as coincidence. But receiving all 3 within a 6-hour period made it impossible to deny that a higher intelligence was orchestrating her financial supply. The third category of signs appears in your internal landscape. Shifts in mood, energy, and expectation that indicate your consciousness has already accepted the fulfillment of your order. You find yourself feeling lighter, more confident, more generous in small interactions with others. You catch yourself making decisions from abundance rather than scarcity without conscious effort. You notice that worry about money simply does not arise as frequently or with as much intensity as it did before placing your order. There is a subtle but unmistakable shift in your energy field, as if you are carrying yourself differently, speaking differently, even breathing differently. Perhaps most significantly, you begin experiencing what Genevieve called divine appointments, encounters with exactly the right people at exactly the right moment to facilitate your order's manifestation. The person sitting next to you on the bus mentions a job opening in your field. The friend you run into at the grocery store asks if you know anyone interested in a business opportunity that matches your skills perfectly. The stranger in the coffee shop overhears your conversation and offers information that proves valuable to your financial situation. These meetings feel orchestrated rather than accidental, because they are. The cosmic intelligence is arranging circumstances to bring you together with the people who can serve as channels for your prosperity. The fourth category of signs involves what appears to be obstacles or challenges that actually serve to redirect you toward your manifestation. A job interview gets canceled, freeing up time for you to pursue a better opportunity. A business deal falls through, preventing you from committing resources that you will need for your real breakthrough. A financial setback forces you to look for alternative income sources that turn out to be more profitable than your original plan. What initially appears to be bad luck often reveals itself as divine protection and redirection. The final test often appears just before complete manifestation, a circumstance that seems to contradict your order or make its fulfillment appear impossible. This is not the universe changing its mind about your request. This is the last opportunity for doubt to assert itself before being permanently dissolved by the evidence of your successful manifestation. Barbara experienced this when her car broke down the morning before her money was scheduled to arrive, creating an additional expense that made her question whether her order was truly working. She maintained her faith by remembering Genevieve's teaching that appearances are temporary, but spiritual law is eternal. By evening, she had received not only the $4,000 she had ordered, but an additional $1,200 that covered the car repair perfectly. When you recognize these signs appearing in your own experience, do not analyze them or try to figure out how they will lead to your money's arrival. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude as confirmation that divine law is working on your behalf. Each sign strengthens your faith and makes the next manifestation easier and faster. If you are already seeing these harbingers in your own life, leave a comment saying, "The signs are here." This declaration acknowledges the universe's communication and reinforces your expectation of complete fulfillment. The acceleration continues. The signs multiply. The old reality of struggle dissolves like mist before the sunrise of your new prosperity consciousness. You are no longer someone who hopes for money. You are someone who orders it with authority and receives it with gratitude. There exists one final element that seals your prosperity order with unbreakable authority and ensures that your new consciousness of abundance becomes permanent rather than temporary. Genevieve Behrend discovered that the most powerful manifestations occur when you speak what she called the words of completion, a declaration that closes the gap between ordering and receiving, between desire and fulfillment, between the invisible and the visible. After you have placed your written order and positioned it under your pillow, before you sleep, speak these exact words aloud with increasing intensity. Begin as a whisper, letting the words emerge from the deepest place of knowing within you. It is ordered, it is received, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. Feel the truth of these words resonating in your chest, in your bones, in the very marrow of your being. You are not hoping these words will become true. You are recognizing that they already are true in the dimension where all ordering and receiving occurs simultaneously. Now speak the same words in your normal speaking voice, feeling the authority grow in your chest, the certainty expanding through your entire being. It is ordered, it is received, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. Let your voice carry the frequency of someone who has never known lack, someone for whom abundance is as natural as breathing. You are not trying to convince yourself of anything. You are simply stating facts about the way cosmic law operates. Finally, declare these words with the full power of your voice, as if you were announcing a royal decree that reshapes reality according to your command. It is ordered, it is received, it is done, and it cannot be otherwise. These words carry a frequency that transcends time, collapsing the space between intention and manifestation, between desire and possession. When you speak them with genuine authority, not hope, not wishfulness, but absolute knowing, you are participating in the same creative power that forms galaxies and grows redwood trees from tiny seeds. The phrase, "and it cannot be otherwise," is particularly potent because it acknowledges that your order aligns with divine law rather than opposing it. You are not trying to manipulate the universe into doing something unnatural. You are recognizing that abundance is your natural state, and that lack was the temporary condition that is now being corrected through your conscious ordering. This sealing process works most powerfully when you understand that you are not just saying words. You are embodying the consciousness of someone for whom prosperity is already a completed fact. Feel the relief of having your financial concerns resolved. Experience the freedom of knowing that money flows to you easily and consistently. Sense the confidence that comes from understanding your own creative power and your direct access to the source of all supply. If this entire teaching has awakened something within you that recognizes truth when it encounters it, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss these profound principles that bridge ancient wisdom and practical results. We are building a community of conscious creators who understand that prosperity is not an accident, but a learnable skill, not a matter of luck, but a matter of consciousness. Return to this video in exactly 48 hours and share your manifestation testimony in the comments. Your success story will inspire others and strengthen the collective field of abundance consciousness that benefits everyone who encounters it. When you share your results, you multiply the power of these teachings and contribute to a growing body of evidence that divine law actually works when properly applied. Share this video with anyone who is ready to stop struggling with money and start ordering prosperity with precision and authority. The more people who understand these principles, the faster they work for everyone involved. We are creating a momentum of abundance consciousness that makes manifestation easier and more rapid for each new person who learns these techniques. Remember that what you have learned today is not just a technique. It is a return to your natural power as a conscious creator in partnership with divine law. You were never meant to struggle, worry, or live in fear about money. You were designed to prosper, to overflow with abundance, to be a conduit through which the universe demonstrates its infinite supply. The cosmic ordering system has been waiting your entire life for you to discover it and begin using it consciously. Every challenge you have faced, every limitation you have experienced, every moment of financial stress has been preparing you for this revelation, that you have direct access to the source of all wealth, and that this access comes through consciousness rather than circumstances. Place your first order tonight. Write it with authority. Sleep on it with complete faith. Wake tomorrow, expecting its fulfillment. And when your money arrives, not if, but when, remember that this is not a miracle. This is simply the universe responding to someone who finally learned to place orders instead of making requests. You are not lucky. You are not special. You are not different from anyone else. You are simply someone who discovered the ordering principle and decided to use it. And now that you know this secret, your relationship with money will never be the same again. The power was always within you. The abundance was always available. The cosmic ordering system was always functioning perfectly. Now you know how to access all three with precision and certainty. Place your order, expect delivery, receive with gratitude, and so it is.